Hey folks, it's Frithgar here, how you doing? Welcome back to Farmville. Reproduction there, so we will soon have another 20 cows, I think that's about it. So once they've all reached maturity, that'll be it for the cows. They will stay there, we won't get any more, we won't worry about that. And that means that our cows will be producing a set amount of slurry and manure as well. Which means that I can either just use the BGA as we've got it right now, and then once that one is full, the excess manure and slurry, I load that up and I sell it direct at the sell everything container. Or I can sell off the concrete silage clamps at the BGA, and I can, instead of those, plop down a couple of mini BGAs as well, and we can use a couple of those as well as the main one that we've already got and process all slurry and manure that goes through the cows. I won't process anything else. I won't put anything else through, just make sure that we're processing everything that the cows produce. And then that will be one of our sources of income. The milk is obviously another source of income. We're already getting 4,000 to 5,000 euros per month from that. That's going to double up once we reach our maximum capacity of cows, and then we're getting anywhere from 3,000 to 5,000 euros per month from our chickens. Is it 3 to 5? No, it's like 9 grand we got, wasn't it? I don't know. I think it was. Yeah, it was about 9,000. So anywhere from like 5 to go all the way to maximum. I think you're looking at about 10. So between 5 and 10,000 per day from our chickens. We're doing pretty well, I think, with our regular incomes. And then we've got our cereal crops that we turn into flour at the mill. And we've got the other crops that we just sell when the price is right for it. And actually, right, I'll get to the end of the row over here. I always forget about the soybeans. Soybeans are one of the only crops that you sell in the middle of summer, and I always end up forgetting about them. So we need to, let me just get to the end of the row over here. Our beautiful combine right there. Back up a little bit. I'll probably do, right about there. And we want to have a look in here. So, soybeans. July is the maximum month, and we're in June at the moment. 3,700 for maximum price. So on 3,600 at the moment. Now, we don't have a lot of beans, admittedly, but we do have some, and it would be nice to make a bit of money out of it. So, Also, when's the best time to set 109? January is when we want to be selling our digestate. We're probably going to want a better tanker for moving digestate and slurry around, because the one we've got, whilst it's good, it's very, very painfully slow for unloading. I don't like that. So, beans, we'll keep an eye on the price for the beans. We know what the maximum is in a year, and so going on that, I'll see what it's like at the end of the day. Because we're doing 1 day per month, basically the end of the day is like nearing the end of the month. And we can just see what the prices are doing. And if it's close to, at, or above the maximum price from last year, then we will sell. We will take that opportunity and we will get ourselves a little bit of extra cash. What we got to decide is what we're going to spend this money on. I mean, yes, the BGA thing, I'm quite liking that, but I've got 3 concrete silage clamps over at that BGA that I can sell at 44,000 euros a piece, which is quite a chunk of money. So we could use that. I mean, yes, I could actually take some of that money and I could use it to invest in the coffee thing, you know, the coffee greenhouse, and then the processing plant, because that is actually something that I'd really like to do. And then not a lot else. We just want to worry about upgrading our machinery and slowly building up. We want to get 100,000 litres of each crop in storage. Now, I'm not going to include in that 100,000 litres the flour from the mill, but what I am going to include is all of the crops that we are currently turning into flour at the mill. which means that I need to store 100,000 litres of each of these crops, as well as, you know, still grinding some of it up at the mill. And on top of that, we have our random events. So if I have a random, you know, we're almost at 100,000 litres of each crop, and then I have a random event that means that I lose one of those crops, we got to go all the way back down to the bottom again, which is an added layer of challenge to this whole situation. So we kind of need to balance things up. I'm not going to worry about the storing of the crops at the moment because we're still expanding the farm. And I think the next things that we need to be focusing on, there's a couple things. We will be removing any excess trees along this line along here, as well as reshaping that and then reploughing the line so that we can actually farm that properly. Like, that's not an ideal situation for us to be in. It's kind of a thing that we've got to do that we have no choice in. We can't go out very much from the edge of the field that exists right now anyway. That's not really going to be much of an issue for us. We just kind of need to level things out so that all of our machinery works in the fields there properly. We've already bought 37. We haven't done anything with 37, so we could level that out and create some new field. There's a possibility for creating field here, which will require us to remove some trees. We could buy 47 down here and clear trees and make ourselves more field. Some of you did say that you actually really enjoy the creation of fields, and it's something that you'd like to see. Plus, we've also got extra fields over here that we can go and buy. Like, that one's 24,000. That one up there is 50 grand. We've got a couple fields over here, which make life easy for joining together. I'm going to get these. Like, I mean, I think 9 and 10 would be pretty good if we could buy them together. We don't necessarily need to, though. We could buy up number 9 to start with. It's really close to our grass field. And then we can just expand that one out a little bit. And that would join. I want to keep it going with what we've got at the moment. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 fields for 8 crops. And I'd kind of like to be able to keep 8 fields for 8 crops. But I don't know how well that's going to work out. Like, we can join some of these together. So if I join those two together to make a big field, I'd end up sort of cutting off a piece here, and then that would be a big piece there. Join that one in. This one here, eventually, we will join all of that together into one field. So I got 1, 2, 3 fields, and then that gives me scope for joining a whole load of extras together when we've bought up the rest of the map, if that's what we want to do. Problem I got with this tractor and trailer combination is that this trailer is rather tiny. 12,500 litres of barley right there, and that is one combine load. So the combine empties out into the trailer, and then I've got to take it straight back. So we could do the bigger trailer, but now that we have this bigger tractor that we're running around with, this McCormick tractor that we use, we are in a position where we could actually go and get a bigger trailer, and we'd easily be able to pull it round. I think this trailer was actually one that we had with the farm to start with. Right, we will bring this one in here. I like the color combination of this, the trailer and tractor. Like, I like the look of the CLAAS trailer anyway. I think it just looks really cool. Maybe slightly influenced by the fact that I had one of these when I was a kid, and I used it a lot. It was a Britain's toy, and it looked an awful lot like this trailer right here. So we tip that in there. And then we want 45,000 litres of grain surplus on top of this in order to keep our chickens happy for 2 years. I want 2 years worth of food in storage so that we know that we are going to be able to keep those chickens happy and well fed for the duration of, well, 2 years at least. It allows us to have a poor yield or small fields of them 1 year, and we're still able to produce some grain, but we're also still able to feed the actual animals themselves, which I feel is kind of important. So if we go and take a look over here, we have currently 7,000 litres of barley and, well, call it 7,000 litres of wheat as well between the two of them. So we're on 14,000. That means I need another 30,000 litres of grain in order to be able to keep them for the 2 years that I want. Yeah, see? It gets difficult. Alright, as soon as you start crunching those numbers, you realize, well, actually, it's really not as easy as you would think. That there's a lot more of these numbers than you first realize. Let's drop that down there, and that one round like that. It would probably help if I was to turn the combine on rather than just lower the thing down. Let's try that, just for something different. We'll actually try turning the combine on before we start traipsing up across the field and see if that does help with our overall grain yield. I feel that it might. Right? I don't want to influence everybody else and how they do things on their map, but I do feel that actually having the combine running while you're driving across the field does contribute a small amount to a slightly increased yield off of your fields. Your yield being absolutely zero if you just race up. Well, it might not be zero. I suppose if you lowered the header down and then tore off across the field, you might sort of strip off a handful of grain. So you would have something. You would have something there to show for your time, just not necessarily very much to show for your time. Does that make any sense at all? I think that makes sense. I think that's a reasonable argument to make. Now, I'm going to bring you over here like this. And what I'm going to do... Actually, I'm going to go up here. Does it go directly in line with the lines that I got there, or will it go at this angle? It won't go at that angle. It will just line it up straight with the... Let's lift that up again. It will just line it up straight with the lines that are there already. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it round this side, like this, and start here, so it'll take a little short run, and then hopefully it'll get most of the way across the field before it does its next turn. So if I go back to about here, I think. Oops. Drop that in. I know there's a mod that you can get that actually... when you have the header lowered down, it'll pick up straw that's already on the ground and stuff it through the combine for you. I don't like the idea of using that mod. I don't want to use that mod at all. So, yes, I do know that it's there, and I do acknowledge it, and it does seem like a realistic thing to go and do, but I also don't like it because I think it reduces the actual quantity of straw that's there, and if you're doing this in real life, it's quite possible to lower in and just twist the header slightly so that the straw stays on the ground, which you can't do in-game. You don't have that control. I'm pretty sure there was actually a mod that allowed you to adjust the tilt on the table of the headers. Maybe not. I don't know about that one. But you can adjust the tilt on the table of the header in real life, and so, yeah. Because you can go and do that in real life, you should be able to do that in-game. And although you can't physically do that in-game, the idea of driving across the straw here, I'm not actually concerned about that, because I'm not picking up that straw and stuffing it through the combine. And I mean, even if you are, you're not losing the straw. You do that. You just move your combine over slightly so the straw goes through again. You get a little bit of grain going through, and you get the straw from the previous run going through. It doesn't actually affect the yield of the grain very much. It might a tiny little bit, I suppose, but it's something that you do. You basically do whatever you can to make the job go smoothly and get everything to run through the combine smoothly as well. And that's all you're basically doing, and that's all you'd be doing in any job. You're just trying your best to make sure that everything works properly. That's all you're after in any of it. Now, do I trot off and get myself another trailer? We've got this one. Ooh, you know what I could do? Let's just go over to our workshop and see if we've got high sides for this trailer. Because if we've got high sides for it, we might be able to take just a little bit more than we can right now. Now, obviously, there's going to be silage sides, and for some trailers in the game, If you put silage sides on, it won't let you put grain into it, which is a little bit of a jolly nuisance at times. But I can understand why, because if you've got the big silage sides on, you don't want to be putting grain into the trailer because the silage sides are not strong enough to actually handle that. So we've got this one here. Let's do repair work on all of it while we're in here. We don't actually really need to because we've got $2,000. Good gravy. I don't want to customize that one. No. I do want to customize this one. So I've got an extension there, which takes me to 22,500. And standard. So it's literally just one extension. Quite often with these, if you're getting silage sides put on, you also have an extra bit where it brings up one side. And that's because when you're following along beside a forage harvester, it's then got a high bit that the grass sort of goes up against. But this one's just got this bit. So I'm going to customize that at a cost of 2,500. And I will then be able to find out, because it doesn't say here whether or not... Oops. This will... you know, there is an easy way to find out. I can just go over the... thing over here. It doesn't seem like this is suitable for anything other than silage now, I've got to be honest. But you can actually put the wheat in there. Right. So we can put grain in here with these sides on. So these sides are stronger than just what I thought was standard silage sides. Which means that they are actually able to support the weight of the grain that would go in there, which means that we can now put 22,500 litres of grain into this trailer. And the way the side picks up, I really like that. I like the way that side does there. This means that I can now go and put 2 loads from the combine into this trailer rather than just a single load, which is fan-schmabulous because it means that we don't have to run back and forth every single time we empty that combine out. Now what I am going to have to do is wait for the combine to come all the way back up over here. He's got 3,500 litres of space left on board, and as soon as he gets back down here, we will be able to then unload him on the run. I don't know if he's going to get all the way up through there. Find out in a minute. 1,000 litres of space left in the combine for the next run. We should be able to empty it out before it needs to do all of that. So we get... hopefully that trailer isn't too high for the... That's going to be the next thing, is whether or not the... I don't think it is. I think the combine should be able to reach over the top of that without too much trouble. So... right now, it doesn't look like we need to worry about getting another trailer, but I reckon we will soon anyway, so that we can just handle extra quantities of material as we go along. Ideally, what you want to do when you're unloading a combine is you want to be driving up, you want to straddle the straw like this. You don't want to be although the middle of it is there, you don't actually want to be driving on it like that. It's not so good for the straw. It makes it more difficult for the baling. And also, if it does rain, it's not going to stay dry. Now, I'm just going to follow this one all the way down. We'll empty all of this out. I don't think we will get the whole field into this load. It's a little bit of a shame, but that's all right. So, if we... ooh. Actually, I think we might. We've easily got enough grain here for the chickens for 1 year, right? That's not going to be a problem. We need 21,600 litres. We've easily got that already. But what I wanted was 45... my target is 45,000 litres of grain. If I can hit 45,000 litres, anything above that goes to the mill to be turned into flour. I've got almost 14,000 litres there, and I've got... I think I said 14,000. Have I got 14,000? We got 14,000 litres over here, so I've got a grand total of 28,000 litres, which means I need another 10, about another 17,000 litres of grain. So, I mean, if we get a full combine out of this field, we'll be doing pretty well, but I don't think we're going to do that. Where's the wheat? which is I think 16 was the wheat field, wasn't it? It was, right. So field 16 being the wheat field, that's the second biggest field that we've got, means that I think we almost definitely, certainly, possibly will end up with enough grain this year to have a full 2 years worth in for our chickens. So the excess can then be taken and put directly into the mill. Sorghum goes to the mill and oats go to the mill. The sorghum definitely goes to the mill because, you know what, let's just stop that one a second. Oh, I thought he had stuff, but he doesn't. Sorghum goes to the mill because I don't want to be giving that to the chickens. I think that's a bit of a waste. And oats is pretty good going to the mill as well, although the oats you can't put into the chickens anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So we get a reasonable amount of flour coming off of both of those products. The oats and the sorghum we don't have very much of this year. That is what I would consider to be a slight issue, because we could potentially get a lot of money out of those if we could have more of them. And let's have a look. It's this one. We've got barley. So it's canola here next. Canola's only a small field for there. Sorghum comes after soybeans. Right, sorghum's that field. It's going to be even smaller. It's the smallest field next year. Oats is small. Yeah, we're not going to do so well with. That's going to be barley next year, so at least we get a reasonable amount of barley coming in. But some of the others, unless we can increase the acreage that we've got before next year, although it's not all spring planting, is it? We also got winter planting. It's all about finding that balance, isn't it? Where are we going to put our crops? How are we going to do our crops? When do we expand our fields, and which fields do we get when we do expand? What crops do we put in the fields when we expand? Like, ideally, you want to be able to expand your fields and change things around a little bit when it comes to crops in, well, after you've done the harvest. You want to finish all of the harvest and then do the new field, and then see where you're going to put all your crops after that. It doesn't always work out that way, does it? So the barley and the wheat and the canola, which is the ones that are planted in the autumn, those, it's a little bit more difficult to plan ahead with the buying of a field. Well, it does depend where we buy and how we do. We have 56,000 right now. Before we finish doing all the harvest, we should be okay for being able to buy at least one more field. And it does depend in part where you want me to put a new field. Right, at the moment, we've got that big area over there, which is this big area here. But I wasn't planning on turning all of that into a field at the moment. I was going to kind of leave that. Possibly we could go with this bit over here, although that one is 128,000, which is quite prohibitively expensive. Maybe we need to be looking something smaller scale over this way, like that's 40 grand. This one up here, field 9, that one is 25,000, 24,000. Right, there's various different options for how we can do things. I've only got 4,000 litres now. A bit disappointed. I thought we'd end up with a bit more than that. Go and drop this into the trailer. So I said I wanted 17,000. With this 4,000 litres now, I'm then going to want, well, 4,500. But with this, I'm going to want one combine full of grain. And that's going to be about my 45,000 litre target. Roughly. Let's go this way so that I'm ready for the next bit. But our next crop that we will be harvesting, we've got this one over here. And I think also the canola will be harvesting next as well. So we got right here, this one started. We have canola and wheat is available in July. Also oats are available in July. If we don't, then it will be August. Now canola must be planted in either August or September. Try to get it planted then, which means that that goes into the barley field. So that's this field here. We want this field ready to be planted in September, I said. No, August. August, but we still got 2 months before we've actually got to do that, so we don't have to worry about it yet. Now, the other thing that we can do is leave the header on the combine, because I'll be driving on round. We're going to go down to the grass field, and we're going to go in that way, which we have done previously. We will do it again. I will fold the combine up there, but I'm going to leave the header hooked on, and we're going to just park it over here for now. We don't actually need to do anything more than that. So that one's going to go there. Lower the header down, and we'll park that one up. And then next month we'll be able to drive on down and use it down in those fields down over there. So next we will skip over to here. We've got 18,000 litres of barley right here that's ready to take back over to the farm. We'll tip this lot out, and then I need to go and get the trailer and the baler on, and we want to start baling up that straw, and that is going to need to be put in for the cows. Now, the only thing that I'm not sure about is whether or not we can, with this lot that we've got here, with this shed. Sometimes on maps they don't let you put straw in for cows unless you use a chopper. Other times you can just drop the bales in. I don't like the ones that force you to use a chopper. Having put thousands upon thousands of litres of straw in for cows, tons and tons, hundreds, thousands even, bales of straw in for cows, big bales, I know that you do not need to go and use a chopper. Right? You can use a chopper in certain circumstances. It does make life a lot easier in some situations. But for the situation that we've got over there, with those cows all loose in one big area, you definitely don't need it, because all you got to do is put that bale in, break apart a couple of cakes, the cows do the rest. They will run around, they play with it, and stir it all up, and they basically spread the straw themselves. Alright, I see the same thing on maps with pigs in this game, and that really irritates me more than anything else, because when you got pigs, you don't go and use a chopper. For a pig, the most exciting time of the day is when you put new straw in for them, because they go and stir it all up and they got something to play with for a while. Right? You don't need to be fluffing that stuff up. They can do that all by themselves, and they do a really, really good job of it too. Like, they're really, really good job of it. Now, let me go over here, and I will have that one. Unhitch that trailer. I can just stay right where he is. I'll just bring you over to here, like this. I'll stop you there. Unfortunately, folks, that is all we have got time for today. A massive thank you to everybody who has earned their way into the Great Book of Names. To find out some more details about all the names coming past, please head into the description and click on the link to the Discord. It's a link to another video. The link is on the other video. Please also consider checking out the links there for Nitrado, who provide gaming servers for games like Farming Simulator, Minecraft, Ark, and several others. And there's also Fanatical, who will help support your gaming habit by providing you with cheap games and also giving me a small commission on anything that you buy using my link. If you've enjoyed this particular video, then please head down below and give us a like. And if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me. Get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. And until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.